Alrighty, folks, Patriot Mobile has been called America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who upholds the First and Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, and supports our military, veterans, and first responders. Here to discuss their commitment is Patriot Mobile's Chief Marketing Officer, Scott Colburn. Thank you, Scott, by the way, for doing what you guys are doing for the Patriots. Really, really cool. Patriot Mobile, proud sponsor of the Patriot Awards. What does this event represent to you and the company, Scott?
Well, first of all, Eric, thank you for having me on. You know, we're always wanting to get the word out about what we're doing here at Patriot Mobile, and you guys, you know, you're a big part of that. Patriot Awards. Now, listen, look, we were up in New York last week, and it was just an honor to be in the room with a group of people that clearly, you know, prioritize their values and their beliefs above convenience and comfort, and just stood for what is right and good. And the stories that we heard, these people that we honored that night, it's inspiring and should be inspiring to all of us, because truly that's the American spirit, right? To stand up for what's right and what's good. And that's kind of what we believe in at Patriot Mobile and why we exist. We want to fight for the good guys here, right? We want to provide an alternative to people that believe that freedom is worth fighting for. And we're going to be on the front lines anytime you show me a group of people that's out there fighting for freedom.
And you guys sponsored the Patriot Awards, and we noticed that Charlie Kirk's legacy had a huge presence there. Tell us about why that was so important to you.
You know, Charlie has been a longtime friend of Patriot Mobile. We've known him for years. We want to do anything we can to honor his legacy. And in fact, Eric, we're doubling down our commitment to TPUSA and all the good things that Charlie started. We owe it to Charlie to carry on his voice. And we just believe that we're just getting started here, right? I mean, Charlie would be amazed at what's happened just in the last 2 months. And we're going to be right there in the middle of it. That's like I said, we owe it to him and to Erica and to quite frankly, to everybody at TPUSA, because those guys are really, really getting it done.
You know, Patriot Mobile, you guys do great. You do great things besides providing great mobile cell service and such. You give back to pro-life, pro-family, pro-freedom causes. What impact are you seeing from those investments at the community level?
You know, that's a great question, Eric. And aside from, you know, all the great things we're doing in the 4 pillars that you said, I mean, it's about saving babies, right? It's about honoring our veterans and first responders. It's about, you know, protecting our free speech. But when you talk about at the local level, right, we're going to support grassroots politics. We here, as a matter of fact, we're right here in Tarrant County. We're right in the middle. It's the largest red county remaining in the nation. It's right here in Texas, North Texas, where we live. It's where our offices are. And look, it's bigger than 15 states. If we lose Tarrant County, we lose Texas. If we lose Texas, we may well never have another Republican president again. So we're fighting that battle, and it starts at the grassroots. We're trying to get local officials elected. And in fact, we've got one of our own, Lee Wamsgans here. She's in a Senate race here, a state Senate race here in Texas. And she's a fighter. We need more like her. We need to clean up some of this mess here in Texas. People look at Texas and thinks it's really red, but we're fighting, and we got to do whatever we can to keep it red. And we're going to support Lee and other candidates that are willing to step up and be true conservatives, not this rhino Republican stuff that we're seeing all over the place. We need true conservatives to stand up and fight.
Scott, very quickly, about 30 seconds or so, you guys have made a commitment to faith, family, et cetera, at a cost, right? And just very quickly, the cost is well worth it, but tell us about the cost of, you know, because there are folks who may not want to jump on because of those things.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're definitely not going to be the cheapest cell phone service provider out there, but I can guarantee you, we may be $1 more than the next guy, but would you spend another $1 to know that you're going to be helping to fight freedom, the things that you believe in? First Amendment, Second Amendment, sanctity of life, the military and first responders. To me, that's priceless, right? So it's not really about the price. Typically, we can save you a little money, but it's about defending freedom. So let's switched over to Patriot Mobile and make it happen.
Well, thank you certainly from me personally, my family, and certainly the Rav Bowling Show family as well. Scott Colburn, Chief Marketing Officer, Patriot Mobile. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Eric. God bless you.
You have a great day. All right, folks, on Saturday, November 15th in Washington, D.C., the Free Iran Convention will bring together over 1,000 Iranian scholars, activists, professionals, and community leaders who are dedicated to changing and charting a path towards a democratic, secular, and non-nuclear Iran. Here to discuss is the Deputy Director of the U.S. National Council of Resistance of Iran, Alireza Jafarzadeh. I hope I said it right, Alireza. Good to have you back, my friend. You know, it strikes me that this is something that has to come from the folks. You guys are putting some scholars together. Great idea. Love it. But how do you get the groundswell of people to do it? You need millions upon millions of Iranians to say enough is enough of these mullahs. Let's get back into the 21st century.
Eric, yeah, you nailed it. This conference is exactly about that. It's not about a conference just like scholars getting together outside of Iran. It's all about inside Iran. The focal point of the conference is actually a section called Voices from Inside Iran. Those political prisoners. Actually, we're going to have a lot of messages from people who are on a death row, who are political prisoners inside Iran. Why they were sentenced to death? Because they stood up to the Ayatollahs. They called for change in Iran. They supported the main organized resistance, the MEK, which has acted as engine for change. There's going to be messages from those on the ground, what's known as the resistance units. These are the people who are going to cover their faces, but they're going to talk about their commitment, their involvement, the role they've played in the uprisings in the past, how committed they are to bring down the regime in Iran. The message is really that change will come on the ground by the people of Iran, and it's not just going to happen by itself. There needs to be an organized force, which is those resistance units on the ground. And their message to the outside world is that you need to look at Iran through the prism of the Iranian people and the organized resistance, not the regime. And the keynote address actually is going to come from Paris. Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, the president-elect of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, who's played a huge role in galvanizing the network inside Iran, but also mobilizing international support for change in Iran, international support for those on the ground. This is going to be a very unique convention that I invite everyone to come and join.
Alireza, I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I remember there was a point where Tehran was an up-and-coming city. Women were allowed to wear street clothes. The feeling was it was a beautiful city that was growing, and technology was one of the main economic products coming out of Tehran. And then it went back to the mullahs, almost like it went back 100 years. What happened? Am I wrong? And what happened if I'm not wrong?
Well, you know, certainly a good portion of what you said is actually the truth, that Iran certainly, there was a desire on the part of the people of Iran to advance, to progress. Remember, Iran is a nation state, very over 2,000 years. A lot of the science and literature and culture and all of that, and medicine, everything came from Iran centuries ago. But the problem with that, which actually led to the 1979 revolution, was that we had a repressive ruler, the Shah, who ruled through iron fist, put intellectuals in jail, announced a single party rule, was very corrupt. The people of Iran didn't like it. They said it's fine that it's not about like women just having the ability to wear whatever they want to wear, but it's their role in the leadership. What's their role in the society? What's the role of the other people in the society? That actually led to a genuine revolution, popular revolution. Millions of people swept the Shah out of power. What happened was that because the Shah had put a lot of the intellectuals in jail and got rid of them, and he left the network of the clerics intact, they stole the leadership of a genuine revolution and installed even more repressive system in Iran.
So I don't mean to cut you off.
Yes.
My point is, I'm kind of out of time here. My point is, if it happened once, and I'm not talking about 200 years ago, we're talking about 50 years ago, 45, 47, 46 years ago, it could happen again the other way, in the better way. And you guys are at the tip of the spear of making that change back to bringing Iran into the 21st century where where human rights are still, women have rights again, and folks can worship who they want to worship, not just Allah. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Alireza Jafarzadeh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eric. Always a pleasure.
We'll see you again soon. All right, folks, back 2.5 minutes.